Χαιρόμαστε πάρα πολύ που σας έχουμε μαζί μας.
Recording in progress.
Στην πρώτη μεγάλη εκδήλωση του Athens Security Forum. Είμαστε ιδιαίτερα ευτυχείς που από την αρχή της προσπάθειας αυτής του Ινστιτούτου Διεθνών Σχέσεων ο Δήμος Αθηναίων ήταν εξαιρετικά υποστηρικτικός και πιστεύουμε ότι μια τέτοια πρωτοβουλία εντάσσεται απολύτως στη λογική της ανάπτυξης της Αθήνας ως ενός κόμβου όχι μόνο προσέλκυσης τουριστών αλλά και ανθρώπων με επιρροή στο διεθνή χώρο. Η Αθήνα ούτως ή άλλως είναι μια ιστορική, αιώνια πόλη. Θα μπορούσαμε να πούμε ότι η ασφάλεια, η άμυνα, η πολιτική γεννήθηκαν εδώ. Δεν υπάρχει τίποτα καλύτερο για τους τωρινούς χειριστές διεθνών σχέσεων από τα κλασικά κείμενα, όπως του Θουκυδίδη.
The classic literature like Thucydides and other thinkers or scholars. We believe that the municipality of Athens, with Mr. Bacogyianni being the head of it, serves this very aspirational agenda concerning the growth of the city, and that is why we're deeply happy to have him with us for the opening remarks of this first Athens Security Forum. And we would like to believe that we will have you now next steps as well. Thank you very much for being here. I will give the floor to the president of the BOD of this, Professor Mr. Kostas Ifandis, for the welcome address. You have the floor, Professor. Thank you. Besides, allow me to thank our partners, Konrad Adenauer Stiftung. Let me also deeply thank for his president, Mr. Altmaier, and the other officials who are present here with us. Thank you. Professor. Dear Inno Afentouli, Executive Director of IDIS, that belongs to Panel University, as you all know, we are very proud, all of us, to have with us from the beginning of this academic year the University of Pantheon, in spite of the fact that we have been collaborating, and I have been saying so for many, many years. But let me insist, Athens Security Forum was born as an idea through discussions with Inno in Brussels when she was the head of one of the directorates of NATO, but also discussions she had among us. To be frank, Mayor, I will not repeat how thankful I am. Inno was clear, but allow me just to welcome Mr. Damianos as a representative of the Association of MEPs and, of course, the delegation coming from the School of National Defense. It is an honor to have you with us, as well as everybody else. Furthermore, I would like to thank all students who are here with us today. Besides, the audience, in principle, are our students, the students of Pantheon University, and this is our this is our core, rather. The idea of this forum, a forum on security and strategy in Athens, was born when I realized that in many different European capitals, there are this kind of fora, this kind of events. I can remember when I was invited and I participated in the first Global Security Forum of Bratislava, which back then was started and then was institutionalized by some enlightened students of the University of Bratislava in their master's degree, and then this was embraced by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Slovakia and became what it is today, the biggest forum in Southeastern Europe after the Munich conference, in order to be fair. This is the general idea. We started in 2022, and there is no doubt that 2022 is an annus mirabilis, because we have the Russian invasion to Ukraine, which from every aspect seems to change the status quo at the international scene in a way that truly frightens and concerns us all. Many people keep on wondering for what reason such a big fuss for this war, and since there has been no similar concern for other turmoil in any other area of the world which might be more bloody than this war. The reason is very simple. The reason is that Russian invasion to Ukraine has brought to surface, has re-brought to surface and into the public debate worldwide at a European scale, but also at a national level, all these matters that we were afraid to tackle, such as a very offensive war at the heart of Europe after so many years, such as, for instance, the possibility, the realistic possibility to have and to see the use, the potential use of nuclear weapons at the heart of Europe. And then also we're talking about the relocation, the abrupt and the violent resettlement and transfer of populations within Europe, the full destruction of infrastructure that it took us many decades to build. All these reasons do make this clash so important, so iconic, I would dare to say, at the same time, so frightful. Furthermore, 2022, and this was our initial inspiration, is the anniversary. And what do I mean by that? When it comes to the inclusion and integration of our country in NATO in 1952, 70 years have elapsed since we joined NATO. This we didn't pay much attention to that exactly due to the fact that we had the Russian invasion to Ukraine. For that reason, all of us, we do agree that NATO was revitalized. This is the pretext, or this is the cause, along with an inherent aspiration in IDIS, in the team of IDIS, to do something more. And thus, we started. This is the first live part, the first live piece of Other Security Forum. 3 online have preceded, which were very successful. I would say that overall, some thousands of people were connected online, and we dealt with all current matters. That is, we started during the first one in late March on the new strategic perception of NATO and how it meets or it doesn't meet an ever-shifting landscape in Europe and regionally. I remember that we had significant speakers such as Mrs. Benedetta Berti, who is the head of the policy design unit of NATO, the Greek consultant on national security, Mr. Dokos, and of course the former Minister of Defense and the Chief of the Staff, Mr. Apostolakis. Then second, in May, this event was related with transatlantic relations and the war in Ukraine. And I remember that we had equally important speeches, and like Ian Lesser and Ana Gomez from Portugal, Ian Lesser from Marshall Fund in Germany, and along with them, Mr. Konstantinos Varitopoulos, Mr. Kostarakos, Alex Papayouannou from the Greek Minister of Foreign Affairs. The third event was about the relations between the West and Russia after the war. This was a bit in a rush because the war has not ended yet. I remember that during this third event, we had an exquisite team to exchange and reflect upon challenges like Volodymyr Dubovic from the University of Odessa, such as Paula Redonto Alvarez Palencia from NATO, who is the head on matters related to Russia and Central Asia, and discussions came from all around the world. But I don't mean to tire you with these details. We're here today doing the first live event. Thank you very much for your presence here. We have, as the Anglo-Saxons would say, we have a brilliant lineup of speakers, given the circumstances. Once again, allow me to thank the municipality of Athens, because from the very first moment, and the mayor in person, Mr. Bacogyannis, because from the very first moment they embraced and they put under their aegis Athens Security Forum. We do want to believe that we shall work together closely. His team, the team of Idis, along with his team, we will work closely in order to render this forum an iconic event for our city, and thus we will oblige the mayor to even more support it. Nothing could have been a reality without, of course, the financing and the support from NATO in the framework of the 70th anniversary from Greece's integration. And, of course, it goes without saying that this event couldn't be a reality without the support of Konrad Adenauer Stiftung and the relevant financing. Of course, I should not forget it, because scientifically wise, and also when it comes to financing as well, it was of decisive importance, the cooperation and the support of Harriman Institute for Russian, Eurasian and East European Studies from Columbia University in New York. If Harriman is Averell Harriman, you can read the books of Mr. Papasotiriou to see who Averell Harriman was, a member of the political elite from the enlightened US. But it is this institute that shaped the post-war strategy, the Cold War strategy, I would say, said the Speaker, of the US, having as a head Zbigniew Brzezinski. Once again, I would like to thank you deeply for being here. I would like to thank our sponsors and our supporters. And now let me give the floor to the Mayor of Athens, Mr. Kostas Bacogyannis, after thanking him once again. Thank you. Mayor, you have the floor.
So good morning and welcome to Athens. It is a privilege to join you, and I would like to thank you for the kind invitation. Herr Altmaier, willkommen in Athen. It is very important to us that the Athens Security Forum is born here in the birthplace of democracy, and I would like to congratulate the exceptional team of Idis for making it a reality. And you will now allow me to switch to Greek. English, of course, is spoken by billions and billions around the globe, but we are particularly proud of our ancient Greek language and how it survives in modern times. Κυρίες και κύριοι, φίλες και φίλοι.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, let me repeat in Greek that I'm very happy for being among you today. Some of you might ask themselves, what is a mayor of the city of Athens doing in a security forum? This is a million-dollar question. I introduced myself to Mr. Altmaier as the one collecting the garbage, and this is one of my main duties, no doubt about that. But today I would like to suggest a different approach of the city of Athens and of the municipality. The city of Athens, the municipality of Athens, is the closest democratic institution as to the citizen. The city, the municipality, has the possibility to interpret the feelings of the citizens. The municipality, by its nature, can and should build bridges bottom up in a modern world where the networks have substituted hierarchies, in a world which resists to the harsh red tape, a world where technology and the blockchain opens new avenues, more flexible approaches are valuable, particularly in the field of external relations. And this is very important for the city of Athens because we have the inconceivable privilege of being able to meet here, right at the Museum of Acropolis, in the shadow of the ancient rock, and we are very proud of our ancient glory, but we also want to take pride in our modern and dynamic selves. Because, ladies and gentlemen, and please, at this point, Mr. Ifandis, please allow me to address the younger generations, because now in the city of Athens, something different takes place, something happens. Athens breaks 3 records. The first is the record of the visitors, of the tourists. The second concerns the investments. And the third one is that we are materializing a major technical project. This means that we have the foundations to be self-confident, something we were probably missing 10 years ago, to have a brand new face for our foreign friends and to undertake new initiatives. And this is an effort that we are conducting right from the first new moment in the city of Athens. Please allow me to quote 3 specific examples. 3 years ago, together with my counterpart, Mayor of Istanbul, Εκρέμ Ιμάμογλου, discussed about the network B40. This is not an original title, no doubt about that. B means Balkans. This is a regional development network. This is what we wanted to do, fully recognizing the difficulties in our bilateral relations, fully recognizing the difference among us, and fully recognizing the fact that we are condemned to coexist in this part of the world. We wanted to build a bridge of mutual respect, of mutual understanding, a bridge of communication, a bridge of cooperation. And this is something we did very methodically against all odds in order for B40 to meet last year for the first time in Istanbul. We are going to welcome the next annual visit in Athens in January. Athens will be the president of this network. B40, little by little, starts leaving its footprint in the cities of the Balkans. Some weeks ago, I visited Istanbul and we inaugurated the park of B40. I was really impressed, dear friends, by the thousands of people that gathered there. They were really enthusiastic. Very often we tend to forget that Turkey is not represented only by the Erdogan regime or the government, and polls show us that 60 to 70% of the Turks say that they want to have a friendly relationship with the Greeks. I do not claim in any case that the mayors can solve the issues that separate us in Cyprus or in the Aegean Sea. But it is well founded to say that we can contribute to an improvement of the climate. This has already been done. A second example I would like to mention is the example of Ukraine. Mr. Ifandis mentioned the Ukraine war. I would like to underline an initiative undertaken by the mayors of Europe in the framework of Eurocity. It has not a very original title. So 8 to 10 mayors met and visited Kiev. We all went to Kiev in order to meet with our counterpart, the mayor, to express our solidarity and our support. We also wanted to see Zelensky and talk about reconstruction of Kiev and Ukraine, because of course we are not able to supply them with weapons or with the economic support badly needed by them. This is beyond our means. But there are things that we can do. We can contribute to the urban planning. We can contribute to the territorial planning. And of course, we can contribute so that we will be able to respond to the humanitarian needs of Kiev. Yesterday, the President of the European Parliament declared that in cooperation with the Eurocities, we will send generators to Kiev. And hopefully the life will become easier during the winter. There are big reception centers for people who sleep in train compartments, in train wagons. Just think what it means sleeping in a train without having electrical current. I'm talking about families, about parents, grandparents, and small children. These were just two initiatives that we have undertaken, but there are some stable points of reference that have to do with international issues, international challenges, which need local solutions or local answers. One of the most important one is the climate crisis. Well, you might say that climate crisis has to do with decisions taken in Washington or in Brussels. Well, let me say that the role of the urban centers is of paramount importance. More than 70% of CO2 or internationally, globally, comes from the urban centers. The unsuccessful COP in Egypt said only a positive conclusion. There where the central governments failed, the central states failed, the municipalities and the private sector were very successful because quite a lot of initiatives have been undertaken during the COP meeting. The C40 is one of the most important in this framework. We exchange practices, ideas, and of course all of us together try to exert pressure upon our central government so that they will do something in order to solve the issue of the climate crisis. It is very important to jump on the bandwagon of growth and continue pointing towards our target. This enables us to work within our own cities. The way we tackle the climate crisis is one of the main considerations of the city of Athens. I don't know whether you have heard about pocket parks. They used to be landfills. They turned into small parks, and they are equally important compared to the projects in Lake Avitos. They are small as the materials we use for our sidewalks. We use cold materials because of overheating in the summertime, or another major project is a double growth concerning the area of Botanikos, more than 50% of Greek areas, or the project to be implemented in Central Avenue of Athens. Let me wind up now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure we'll have the opportunity to conduct a discussion later on. What is very important is to bear in mind that modern cities are not our neighborhood, only our nest. The modern city is a gate to globalization and an outward-looking attitude is what we need, because it is sure that we are participating in a race, and this concerns all the cities of the world. The prizes are three: visitors, investors, and talents. Human brain. In the era of globalization, the cities should play the role of a protagonist. Thank you once more for your kind invitation.
Κύριε Δήμαρχε, ευχαριστούμε και εμείς θερμά για αυτήν την...
Mayor, thank you so much for this thorough description of problems that pertain to urban centers and the need to consider the multiple aspects of security, not only the traditional one, but also environment, cyber security, cooperation with neighboring countries and neighboring cities. We are delighted to see what has been happening here, and let us not forget that President Erdogan started as a mayor of Istanbul 20 years ago to start his journey, a journey which indeed has deeply changed Turkey. We need to acknowledge that. And so now, given that indeed our audience features so many young people, we would like to give the floor to the audience for a Q&A session. Allow me, first and foremost, to welcome Mr. Mikuláš Dzurinda, former Prime Minister of Slovakia and President of the Wilfred Martin Center for European Studies, the think tank of the European People's Party, who is honoring us with his presence. He will be a speaker later. And of course, allow me to stress that through Wilfred Martin Center, the European Parliament is a supporter of the European Security Forum, and we indeed thank you so much for that. Okay, so anyone who would like to have the floor? Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank you for your presentation. My question is this. Knowing your multifaceted action, I would like to ask you, to what extent is it easy for the biggest municipality of the country to contribute, to leave a footprint in the foreign policy? How do you see this challenge? Thank you. Thank you very much for your topical question. And allow me to have no recourse to diplomacy to give an answer, and I would like to be crystal clear. Now, I firmly believe that the municipality of Athens, the city of Athens, or any municipality should be substantial in their contribution. We have to work at the service of national foreign policy. We cannot afford to be inward-looking. And let us not forget that for many of us, inter-party consensus is required in the framework of foreign policy. So no one can afford, when traveling beyond the national borders, differentiate themselves from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs objectives. So we are fully aligned in any of our actions, in any of our initiatives. When I was in Turkey 3 weeks ago, you may remember that there was the unprovoked and unacceptable rejection of Regional Governor Gigi Kostas's entry in the country. And the next day I was about to travel to Izmir when I was invited in the very same forum that Apostolos was about to speak, and I also wanted to pay the visit to the mayor, to my counterpart, to the mayor of Izmir, and in full consensus or with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I just cancelled my trip to Izmir, although I had to pay the visit to the mayor there, who, by the way, is in the opposition of Erdogan. Any other question, please?
Κύριε Δήμαρχε, καλημέρα. Θα ήθελα να σας ρωτήσω.
Mayor, good morning. I would like to ask you, in your view, what are the main issues for the city of Athens?
Η καθημερινότητα.
Everyday life, you mean? The small problems. Let me explain myself. Since 2000 to date, 2 out of 5 have left the center of Athens. We tend to forget that before all these consequent crises, Athens was suffering from an urban crisis. So our objective is to allow families to come back to the city of Athens and to open our arms to young people, and this needs to be active. For example, the sidewalks. Right now, we have completed more than 50,000 square meters of sidewalks. There are several works taking place across the city. Electric lighting, we are updating 45,000 bulbs. Or the playgrounds, we have been building many tens of playgrounds, or all the courts that are being retrofitted, the new parks we are building, and the maintenance of the existing ones. Asphalt laying on the streets. You know, it may be that these are small solutions that may make a small difference to the life of Athenians, but all of them together upgrade the quality of life. Any other remark? Any other question? Thank you.
Καλημέρα.
Good morning. Thank you very much for your input. Now, Mayor, you talked about the climate crisis, and I was wondering what are the measures taken by the municipality of Athens to promote the sustainable urban mobility. Now, I, for example, have a bicycle, and apart from the Megalos Peripatos, the long walk of the municipality of Athens, I have seen no implementation of other measures, and also I'm wondering to what an extent participatory approach is adopted in Athens. Okay, let us first of all explain what sustainable urban mobility means. It's a buzzword. This means that all are entitled to rights. So rights have the drivers, have the pedestrians, have also the bicycle riders. And this leads me to the second thing I would like to say, that in the 20th century, cities were designed and they were centered to the car. In the 21st century, we need to have human-centered cities, and in practice, this requires us to change our habits, and this is difficult. Now, where are we now? We are between the Onision Aeropagitou Street, and some of us may remember when many years ago the neighboring streets were open to cars. Many thousands of people were circulating here. Many drivers will remember. Yes, I'm one of them. I am one of that drivers. So when the decision was taken to pedestrianize this street, there was a government crisis between the then transport minister and the then minister of the environment, and the then prime minister Simitis had to intervene. I don't know whether you remember. So I remember that when Prime Minister Simitis visited the yard, the construction site, he was criticized. Do you now imagine that this area could ever be crossed and used by vehicles? Of course, no. What I mean by that, I mean that to upgrade the quality of life, there are various phases. First is reaction, second is acceptance, third phase when we cannot imagine our lives in a different way otherwise. And this you will see in the city. One part of the Syntagma Square has been completed, now we have revitalized the Syntagma Square along Panepistimiou Avenue. By the summer, you will have room to ride a bike, and I will have some room to walk. Vasilissis Olgas Avenue will, and the related works will start in January. And in conjunction with Ammonia Square, we will create a set of interventions for a more humane city. But of course, the city of Athens has wasted time, unfortunately, because of the financial recession. It was a city frozen in time, and this is why much needs still to be done, and we continue along this direction in the neighbors and downtown Athens. Thank you again. Of course, I am in favor of closing Historic Center to cars, so we will back you. We will support this initiative, Mayor. Well, if I may add something, says the Mayor. I firmly believe, and because I will be candidate in the forthcoming elections, I will ask a vote of confidence for this objective, to close Plaka, Psyri, and this triangle to motor vehicles, exclusions, of course, for the local inhabitants and other cases. I mean, we see that's happening abroad. We can do that as well, and we can do it better. Thank you. There's another gentleman. Good morning. Isografos Ilias. I would like to ask, what are the actions implemented by your municipality to increase the feeling of security of both citizens and visitors? Colonel, thank you very much. This is a wide-ranging problem, not only of Athens, but of all urban centers. And there are two things we can do. So there are two directions we may take. First, prevention. Second, repression. The short one, which is the prevention, it is closer to our capability, as it were. We intend to create an environment which will be friendly for our citizens, a safe environment. For example, electric lighting. You're familiar with Athens. You have been walking through Athens. You know that one of the main issues we have in the neighborhood of Athens is the inadequacy of lighting. So we have been upgrading the network of electric lighting, through the replacement of bulbs, of 45,000 bulbs into LED bulbs. And so automation, savings. There's no need for you to advise us that a bulb needs to be replaced. We get in real time information on that. So just walk through Acharnon Avenue, Academias Avenue, where this has taken place, to witness the difference. And certainly we are very close to meet the energy-saving related objectives that the government has set. We, in no case, will we turn the light off, of course, but we will save energy. Second, repression. Now, we have established a center with the Hellenic Police, which is delivering. Of course, I believe that there are no adequate police squads patrolling across Athens, but I would like to assure you that I believe that more methodically we will be up to the task. Mayor, thank you so much for this substantial discussion we have had. As we said, Athens Security Forum has just started, and it will take place each and every year with many intermediate initiatives under its umbrella. So I am confident that the City of Athens will continue to support us. I wish you all the best, and I would like to welcome Minister of State Akis Skertsos. Thank you.